in the reports on it, you can't do that. And he will be fined. And, oh, by the way, he will be fined massive numbers. We get the fine numbers on the players every single week, the illegal hits. I still don't know exactly how they come up with these figures. 16,112. How is it 16,112?
Getting you ready for Sacramento Kings basketball.
He's got the bucket.
Game night is presented by Power Business Technology, your locally owned and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Contact them at 844-POWER-BZ or visit them at powercopiers.com. Here's your host, Scott Marsh, alongside the high flyer, Henry Turner.
And a very pleasant good afternoon to you. Welcome into game night for one last time here in 2023. The Kings are in Memphis, getting ready to take on the Grizz. Scott Marshall on with the high flyer, Henry Turner. And Henry, we're going to close out 2023. It'll be a matchup again between De'Aaron Fox and John Morant, who is back for Memphis. We'll break that all down in the next hour. If you're out and about, you're getting ready for your big New Year's Eve events tonight, you want to give us a call, you certainly can at 916-339-1140. We would love to hear from you one last time in 2023. Maybe you have a New Year's resolution you would like to share for the Sacramento Kings, or maybe even it's your own. That's fine. Today, that's what it's all about as well. We'd love to hear that. We're also up and running on our YouTube chat room. So go to YouTube, go to Sacktown 1140, get logged in there. We'll have lots of commentary throughout the breaks. And of course, you can chat in there as well. All right, the Kings come into this road trip, or the final game of this road trip before coming home, 1-1 on the 3-game trip. We know it was ugly in Portland. It wasn't any better in Atlanta for the first quarter. In fact, I would argue it was worse. They went down 23 points, 31-8. Looked like they forgot how to play the game, quite honestly. But then they pulled it all out, winning 117-110. They got things going. The Hawks eventually cooled down a little bit, and the Kings found a way to get the win.
You know, Scott, I honestly don't really know how to look at this. Okay, you know, you lose in Portland. It happens.
Yeah.
You know, it's 82. You're going to have some clunkers. Yep. Understand that.
Yep.
And then you come out against Atlanta. The first quarter was atrocious.
Yes, it was.
And then, you know, you really had to put on, once again, the Kings went back to that mantra of we have to dig deep and give a Herculean type effort to try to come back and win this game, which it shouldn't have been that way against Atlanta from the beginning.
Yeah.
But they were able to do it. Now you look at this 3-game roadie and you're 1-1. Mm-hmm. You know, it's almost like I'm kind of like changing my mantra of going game by game and kind of rolling over to, okay, well, this is a 3-game roadie.
Yep.
What would be good? What would you consider a success in this 3-game roadie? They're 1-1. If they can go into Memphis and pull it off, they're 2-1. It's overall a good road trip.
There's no doubt about that. 2 out of 3 on the road, you'll take that anytime. They've got a chance to do that tonight. Memphis obviously playing better with Ja back. They're 4-1 with him in the lineup. And for the Kings, it was a tale of two halves. They gave up 71 points in the first half. They gave up just 39 against the Hawks in the second half. Finally, the defense kicked in. Now, the Hawks missed a lot of shots too, but they were contested shots.
Once again, I'm like I said, I'm really trying to figure out what side I want to be on with this, because it's like, did the Kings ramp up defense? Did they finally say, okay, this is what we need to do? Did they lock down defensively? Or did the Hawks just cool off? I honestly thought that, the Hawks opened the door because the Hawks couldn't hit a bucket. They were taking some atrocious shots.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, they're going to let the Kings back in this game. And that's what they did.
Yeah, no doubt. They ended up shooting under 40% from the field. They were 35% from distance in that game. Now, a couple of things we can talk about this. One was because of injury. The other one was just coach's decision. But Kevin Huerter went out in that third quarter, a wrist strain. He's questionable for tonight. Hopefully we'll have an update on that later in the show. So he only ended up playing 10 minutes. Chris Duarte came in, played 25 minutes. He was a definite plus, and that was good to see. Also, Harrison Barnes. Barnes played 12 minutes.
Right.
He was benched by Mike Brown in the fourth quarter of that game. So we saw a lot more of the bench. Obviously, Trey Lyles got it going from downtown, but the bench, which was anemic against Portland, only had 17 points in that game, contributed 43 points against the Hawks.
And then, Davion Mitchell got a chance to play.
True.
And and we know what he brings defensively. So that might have had a little to do with, how the Hawks kind of cooled off. But, I look at that game and say, whew, the Kings dodged that one.
They did. Yep. A sigh of relief.
Yeah.
Wiping the floor.
You'll take it, Scott. I don't want to break that game down and get too all analytical with it and everything. I'll just say, whew, you guys, it wasn't pretty, but you did what you had to do to win.
Okay, survive in advance.
Right.
And I'll buy into that 100%. But I do want to delve into the Harrison Barnes situation a little bit here because it's obviously alarming when you look at the stats from the game. Again, I said Barnes played 12 minutes. He put up 2 shots. He had 0 rebounds, 0 assists, 0 steals, 0 blocks, and 1 personal foul and 2 points.
Ooh.
We talk about it all the time, so I know it becomes a
do.
recurring theme. But
we do.
was it a 1-game situation with Mike Brown?
No. It hasn't been, Scott.
Yeah.
I mean, and honestly, if we want to be, truly transparent to ourselves and our fans, we've talked about this last year.
Sure, this has been a multi-year deal.
We've had this exact same conversation going last year, and the crazy thing about it is that we know Harrison Barnes is a much better player than that. But here's what happens. Harrison Barnes came out the very first game of the year, like gangbusters.
Plays All-Stars in the opening game.
Gave us 31. We're like, whoa, HB is back.
Yep.
He looks good. He takes the right shot.
He's a record too, I think.
He's never not under control, right?
Yep.
And then you're like, okay, this is the Harrison Barnes we need. All right, understanding he's not going to give us 31 every night, but if you cut that in half, he should be able to give us 15.
No doubt. Nate, I heard you. I didn't know if you were on the air.
Yeah, I was. I remember that being a record that night too.
Well, the thing about Harrison, he had multiple 30-plus point opening nights because he did that in Phoenix,
right?
Too. So, but we don't want to have a one and done scenario. But I think the bigger question is Mike Brown. The fact that he sat him down, is that something we're going to see more of, or is that just game specific still at this point?
I think right now, Mike Brown is searching. I mean, he wants to win. Come on, Scott.
Of course.
This is a win-win league.
Absolutely.
All right. So when you have Kevin Huerter, who's struggling, right? You have Harrison Barnes, who's struggling. Okay. You have Keegan Murray, who still haven't found his way. He's had some good games.
He has.
But he hasn't been consistent.
Nope.
So you got 3 of your starting 5. After a while, you got to be like, whoa. And then you look at, okay, the last game you got Mollywop, De'Aaron Fox, and Sabonis had great games, but you didn't have enough. So now Mike Brown got to look at his bench and say, hey, do I have anybody who going to give me anything? You have to go searching.
Yep. Now, the bright spot, of course, was Trey Lyles, who found his shot, which is great to see. He had 19 points, a season high for him, 7 of 12 from the floor, made 4 3-pointers, had 6 rebounds. That was the Trey Lyles we got accustomed to seeing last year.
That was a Trey Lyles to where you're right. We were accustomed to seeing, and that's a Trey Lyles who was accustomed to getting, major minutes. Once Trey started playing good basketball, he was in the lineup. So he was giving us that. He was averaging good numbers. You're going to need that out of Trey. But in order for Trey to give you that, Scott, he's going to have to get the minutes. And where's the minutes going to come from?
Well, it might come from Harrison Barnes.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So we might see a lot more of Keegan at the 3, right?
Yep.
A lot more of Keegan at the 3 and a lot more Trey at the 4.
Yeah, I think so. All right, let's talk about the Hawks a little bit. And the interesting thing I want to talk to you about them about is, they're 12-19 now, right? We've talked about these teams who are looking potentially to be sellers at the deadline. Toronto made a sell, right? They traded with New York.
Yep.
We'll get into that,
right?
Chicago, another team probably going to make some moves. Atlanta, based on what you saw, there's been talk about DeJounte Murray, possibly some other players moving. Anybody off the Hawks that you would be interested in a Kings uniform?
Wow. Let's throw this out there because, we got positions that we have to fill. You just can't say nowadays we're going for the best player because we don't need a point guard. We've got that.
Yep.
Right. We don't need a 5. We've got that. Basically, we have a 3 if you want to put Keegan at that 3 position. So you're going to have to look at specific positions now nobody stood out to me in that, 2-4 position for Atlanta for me. To say, okay, would this guy fit in with what we have? That's another thing that you got to throw out there when you start talking about making moves for the Kings. Will the guy that you're looking at fit in to what we have going already?
No doubt. Now, Murray's a defensive-minded guard who can score. There's no question about that. That's why his name pops up. Some people were talking about Clint Capella. I don't know as much there. I think we already have that kind of
right.
Although Capella's a double-double machine. He is. He's a great rebounder. Murray's more interesting to me because he's versatile. He can play multi positions. He could certainly play the point. He can play the two. You could rotate him around. He can defend multiple positions.
Wouldn't be a guy that I would just throw away. No, wouldn't be the first guy that I would say, yeah, we need him. I already told you who I'm high on. I'm high on two guys for this team, because for one, I think they fit in our style. For two, I think that, it's another one of those things to where they can come here and they can help and they won't try to be the whole pie. That's huge. I think that Kyle Kuzma will be a great addition to this team because you can flip him and Keegan at the 3 and the 4 spot all day, night, all along. And then I like PJ Washington.
Mm-hmm. His name's being mentioned a lot too.
I like PJ Washington. He's another guy that can stretch. He's another guy that can score around the rim.
Yes.
He's another big body, and he understands. He's not going to try to be that guy that's going to say, okay, I'm coming to Sacramento. I'm the man now. No. We don't need that type of player. We need that plug-and-play guy.
Well, he is coming to Sacramento on January 2nd because the Hornets will be here.
And he always gives us buckets, too.
He had that 40-plus point game.
We got him paid, didn't we?
He took it to us. That's true. All right, game night's underway. As always, game night brought to you by Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. Check out their full line of luxury vehicles at mbfstockton.com. We'll head to the break. Again, if you're in the YouTube chat, we'll go there. We'll break down some more stuff on Sacktown 1140 in the YouTube page. For the rest of you, if you want to call in 916-339-1140, it's game night coming to you live from the Sacktown Sports 1140 studios here on New Year's Eve.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division.
All right, we're in the YouTube chat here.
Nate, how are you, my buddy?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Good. Thanks for coming in on New Year's Eve.
Yeah, happy to be here.
I know you're feeling good. The Niners
I am.
win.
I'm feeling well.
Your whole mood is set by whether the Niners win or lose. Let's be honest.
Yeah, dude. I'm a diehard. So I actually I'm going to the game Sunday as media. My first game is media. I'm stoked. So I got to go to training camp. Not that people in the chat, whatever. I'm stoked though. It's awesome.
Well, I was going to the game myself. I wasn't going to work as media, but I'm a Rams fan, right?
Yeah.
And so I want to go see the Rams, but the Kings play next Sunday too.
Of course.
Now, do you think that game will be flexed?
I think it's going to be a 125 game. There's no time set right now. Yeah. I think there's no stakes really there. Okay. So besides maybe the Rams.
So you have to make a decision?
Yeah, I got to make a business decision.
Those tickets are going to be cheap though. You can get some good seats.
It's a meaningless game for the Niners now.
Yeah.
So it's still a meaningful game for the Rams, but the Kings play at 3.
You can't do that.
Not the Eagle make that.
Yeah, Kings are going to be. I think Niners are going to be a 125 kick.
Yeah,
I
think you're right about that. All right, what's going on in the chat?
So in the chat, there was a report that I saw from I saw some talk about it 15 minutes ago, but Zach LaVine, a guy who's been rumored to come to Sac forever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we actually made an offer to him years ago.
So he, man, it seems like every year.
Yeah.
But multiple sources, I guess, are saying that he would be happy to play in Sac.
We've heard that.
Yeah, so he would want to come here. I know a lot of talk about Siakam with you guys. We were talking before the show about it. Is LaVine, you think, what does LaVine do for this team? Where does he fit in? What's up with? I know you guys have probably talked about it before, but things are always changing.
Why does this mic keep falling apart?
I don't know. Emran was having a problem with it.
I don't know what's going on with it.
It needs to be fixed.
It does need to be fixed.
Sep does not like that.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure of that. Well, of course he would fit in because he's one of the great scorers in the league, but I don't know about defensively. I don't know if he's a Mike Brown guy. That would be my biggest concern for the amount of contract and what you would have to give up in return. I'm not sure that that's the right guy.
I'm not opposed to it. It gives you another legitimate scoring threat. And, this team now is based on scoring. I'm sorry. That's what they do. They outscore their opponent. So seeing that you have De'Aaron, Sabonis, they're solid. All right. You have your bench coming off the bench. Malik, solid. I'll even throw Trey in the solid category.
He had a great game the other night.
Yeah.
Total bounce back.
I'll throw Trey in the solid category. If you had another guy like a Zach LaVine, another guy that's capable of giving you 20 a night, and let's say if he comes up short and he only gives you 16, 18, I think 16, 18 in today's game is easy.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy. If you're a scorer, scoring 16, 18 points shouldn't be hard.
No.
So if you can get another guy that's going to give you that, think about this right now. If Kevin Huerter was averaging 16 or 18 points, where would this team be?
This was last year. Last year, that's what he was doing, and we felt so much better about it.
No doubt. No doubt. We wouldn't even be talking about Zach LaVine.
No.
That's what I'm saying. So I think that's what Zach will bring. Mm-hmm. He will definitely clear up a lot of, questions about this team on the offensive end.
We're coming back.
Welcome back in the game night right here. Sacktown Sports, 1140. Scott Marshall on with the High Flyer, Henry Turner. Game night being brought to you by the Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Sacramento. As we know, there are so many kids in this Sacramento area who are being raised in single-parent households. They could use an outside mentor. Maybe that could be you. If you have a heart of service, you want to do something good for our community and for the children in our community, consider Big Brothers and Big Sisters in 2024. Maybe make that your New Year's resolution. Give Big Brothers Big Sisters a call at 916-646-9300 or visit bbbs-sac.org to learn all about becoming a volunteer mentor. All right, Henry, it's our final show for this year. I'm curious, do you do New Year's resolutions? Is that something you sit down and on the High Flyer, take some notes on what you want to do better in 2024, things you want to do?
You know what, Scott? My resolutions are always plain and simple. Mm-hmm. Just try to be a little bit better than I was in the previous year.
I like that. About just being a better human being.
I'm saying
nothing wrong with that.
Just be a little bit better than you were the year prior.
I love that. That's a good one to have, and we should all have that one. How about from the Kings? Do you have any resolutions for the Kings for 2024?
Can we find some defense somewhere? One of those old gifts that Santa didn't give away. You think you got a little bit of D dust off in there and one of them old presents?
That would be a good one for sure. Following back from our conversation in the last segment about Harrison Barnes, Mike Brown was asked about Harrison's playing time and not being played in the fourth quarter. His quote was, "Everybody gets evaluated all the time, whether it's for starters minutes or significant minutes off the bench or no minutes at all. You're constantly looking at that throughout the course of the year. Sometimes you make changes here, you make changes there. When you do, you roll with it for a little bit and see if it makes sense. And then if it doesn't, you make another change. I believe in the guys that we have, but it's my job also at the end of the day to make a change if I feel it's necessary for sure."
I told you.
Hey, you and Mike Brown speak the same language.
Mike Brown.
I feel like you're his press secretary, honestly. I feel like you write his stuff. He goes up there and reads what you've given him.
Mike Brown is searching for whatever or whoever is going to get the job done.
Yep. All right. Our press coverage of the post game always brought to you by Folsom Lake Honda. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. It'll be interesting to see the minutes distribution tonight. Kings and Grizz, and obviously it's the first time the Kings are playing Memphis this year, in which they didn't get a chance to play Memphis without Ja. You know how the schedule worked. Why couldn't Memphis have been the team you play 3 out of the 4 like the Warriors early this year before Ja came back?
You know what, Scott? I'm not going to say it was going to be a cakewalk to beat Memphis without Ja, but I'll tell you what, you probably would wanted to see Memphis without Ja at least once.
Absolutely.
At least once. So, but didn't happen. You know what? It's another basketball game. In true reality, you're looking at this basketball club with Ja in it. You got to come out and you have to play better basketball.
Yeah, no doubt. The Grizz are playing better basketball. They've won 4 of their 5 games with Ja in the lineup. He's been back 6 games, but he sat in Denver. They got blown out that night, 142-105. The Grizz are currently, they're 10-21 in the Western Conference. So they're in 13th place.
Right.
And if we were just looking at play-in spots, the Rockets are currently 15-15. They own that 10th spot. So the Grizz are 5.5 games back at this point in the season. Do you feel like when it's all said and done in April that the Grizz will be one of the 10 teams still competing in a postseason per se?
What's their big man situation looking like?
Steven Adams is not coming back.
Stevens is not coming, but
Brendan Clark is.
But
I don't know when.
See, that's the X factor for me. If Brendan Clark comes back and he can play the exact same way he was playing before he went out, I think that completes their team.
Okay.
Because JJ doesn't have to do everything. He has another big man, another big body, another guy that can finish around the rim. He don't have to get all the rebounds. He doesn't have to protect the rim. Right now, they're leaning on JJ to do a lot.
Yeah, they are, and he's doing a lot right now. He's playing well.
Right. They're leaning on him to do a lot. You bring another guy back in that takes a little bit of that off his plate. Now he can just concentrate on being a terror on the offensive end.
Yeah, no doubt. Triple J has been really good. Desmond Baines had a great year so far. Marcus Smart is back, and obviously Morant's back. So they've got
enough.
They've got a nucleus now.
They have enough. That's why early on you were like, Memphis is done. I'm like, hold on, Scott. Hold on now. If they can tread water, if they can just tread water and get Ja back, we look at Ja Morant and everybody has an X on this young man.
Yeah.
And for what he does off the court, I'm with that too. I'm a part of that X off the court. On the court, this dude's a freak, man.
Yeah, he is.
He can flat out play. So if you just look at what he does in between those lines, this dude is special.
No doubt. They're 6-20 without him, 4-1 with him. So that speaks right there. He's averaging 26.8 points a game in his 5 games since being back. With Marcus Smart, that combination's worked out well. Marcus Smart is averaging 9 assists per game with Ja Morant now. So that's that interesting dynamic too.
And you know what? I think Marcus Smart is really helping this team out in one specific category, is that as much as Ja persona is to be the bad boy, he's not that guy. And Marcus Smart will fill that void, and he'll do it a lot smarter than what Dylan Brooks was trying to do last year. So I think he helps them out big time just in that way.
Yeah, I still think they miss Tyus Jones, who was a great backup guard for them.
Huge.
Yeah, I think that doesn't get talked about a lot. But, just looking at things, in the standings, like the Rockets are playing well. The Lakers are over 500. The Suns, they haven't had Bradley Beal. Somehow they're over 500 still. And the Pelicans are 18-14. Those are the 4 teams in play-in spots right now. We didn't even mention the Warriors, who aren't in the play-in spot at 15-17 right now. So Memphis is going to have to get above treading a lot of water.
Oh, no, they're going to have to play some good basketball. But the thing about it is that we have how many games left now?
For the Kings, 52.
We got 52
a lot of time.
Games.
That's
a
true.
lot.
True.
See, that's what I was saying to you early on, Scott. I was like, I know John's going to miss 25.
Yep.
But you still have a lot of games left. Let's say if those 25, if you was able to steal, let's say just steal, 7 or 8, that puts you in a good position for when Ja comes back, and then y'all can get on a roll. If that team can get on a roll, they could be right back to where they need to be.
I'm not going to argue with you, but I'm going to throw this at you. To make the play-in, what do you think the threshold is in terms of number of wins?
Ooh, play-in.
Yep.
You're going to have to be 50%.
Okay, so 41 wins.
You're going to have to be 50%.
Okay, so that means the Grizz in their final 51 games will have to go 31-20 to get the 500.
To get to 500.
To get the 500. That means they're going to have to win at a 667 clip, or a 600 percentage, basically. Win 3 out of every 5 games to get there.
Okay.
Now, when you put it in those terms, it sounds pretty difficult.
No. Hey, you know what?
Doable, but difficult.
The mountain is high when you put it that way.
Yeah.
But that's just looking at it in one analytic way.
Yeah.
Because if you look at it and say, okay, can they leapfrog some of these teams? Because some of those teams are right there with them.
Sure. Yeah. No, they dug such a tough spot for them going 6-19.
I mean, but think about it. You just named off 2 teams that are right there with them.
Sure.
They're only a few games from those couple of teams.
Yeah, and it may be that the final play-in spot isn't a 500 team potentially.
Right.
Who knows?
Right.
We're speculating. But if it is 41-41, I mean, the math says the Grizz have to go 31-20 to pull it off, which I don't know if that's realistic because they're going to have injuries just like anybody else too. The margin for error is so slim with a team that already knows they're not going to have Steven Adams, doesn't know when Brendan Clark is coming back. So I don't know. I still would bet on them not making it versus making it, but the way Jaw's playing, I certainly have to reevaluate that.
I would say they're probably going to make it, Scott. You know, I would think some other teams probably would fall off before they would drop like that. You know, because I really don't believe in, even though they didn't kick our butts twice, I don't believe in New Orleans like that. You know, they're one Zion ankle twist away from falling off again. You know, Houston's playing good basketball, but I don't think they're playing great basketball.
Nope, they're 500. Yep.
You know, I mean, it's Golden State. No one knows what where Golden State's going to be. You know, and Clay looking like he ready to walk out the door right now. Besides, Draymond's not there. I mean, some of these teams have so many other factors that's going on with them. You know, Memphis can't catch them.
Oh, there's no doubt that the possibility is still there for sure. I think it's less than 50-50, but who knows? Time will tell. That's what 2024 is going to be all about. And it's going to be a lot of fun. All right. When we come back, speaking of fun, the Pistons didn't have to wait till 2024 to start their celebration and to get that win. The elephant is off their back. Motown can start grooving again. The Pistons have won a game. We'll talk about that. Also a trade in the league, OG Anunoby, a player that some people wanted here in Sacramento. Well, he is not coming to Sacramento. He is going to the Big Apple. We'll have that and a lot more when we return. It's Game Night brought to you by National Garage Door. Call today for your basketball special, 916-638-4554. Game Night right here, Sacktown Sports, 1140.
Do you want to swap mics, Scott?
I will do whatever. I can make it a half hour here.
You could just move that one over.
Got it.
Yeah. And then I'll do this. Turn off the first one. This has been a recurring issue in the Sacktown Sports Studios. We've had some microphone trouble.
Good call.
But
Thank you.
yeah, so the chat's going up. I do want to say I texted, not to brag, I texted my insider with the Kings.
Yes. You have an insider?
I have an insider, yeah. He says
you're not the insider.
I'm not. No, I'm just some guy who sits behind the booth. Okay. He says Kevin Huerter's active.
Okay, good.
So I mean, I think that means
he's available.
He's available. Yeah.
Yes.
So
if he's on the active, they do plan on playing him.
Yeah. What I did want to ask about, we got Manny in the chat wondering, kind of who's your dog for the game tonight. This is something we do on the midday show. Where it's who do you think is going to have a standout performance if you had to pick on the Kings?
All right, who's going to finish 2023 with a bang, Henry? Who are you going with tonight?
Tonight, Memphis. I think Keegan's due, man.
All right.
I think Keegan Murray is due. He's due to have a decent game tonight.
Okay. Well, I think obviously the marquee matchup is Morant and Fox, and De'Aaron will always be ready for that one. So, I mean, it's the easiest choice, but I'll go with De'Aaron.
He's solid, man.
I know it's not a choice. I get it.
Say, that's low hanging fruit. You know he gonna be there.
I get it.
I think I'm going to say Trey Lyles. I think he has a back-to-back. I think he starts to kind of get back on track.
Okay.
I think he starts to become more of a key player for the Kings. I know he missed, how many games he missed? Like 10 or something? Feels like it.
He missed his first 12 or 13.
10, 12,
yeah.
Yeah.
So, I think he's going to kind of just get more confident. You know, he does that spot up thing a lot where he fakes the three and then he goes into the basket. He just got to shoot more, I think.
Oh no, he can get in a groove for sure. What's Manny's dog?
Manny's dog's Domas. He's got a pretty specific. Well, he's saying he thinks triple double for Domas, which honestly that's low hanging fruit too.
Well, he's had 5 of them this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to say that Domas is going to have a good game.
I mean, when you think about no Steven Adams, no Clark. I mean that's
that helps him a ton.
That's like okay, no brainer, duh.
Yeah,
exactly. All right. Anything else in the chat room?
Just some talk about Colby Jones getting him some more minutes with the team, which I think
Colby's down in Stockton, isn't he?
Yeah,
he has been.
I'm
just surprised he hasn't played a little more, considering where it felt like Mike was with him in the preseason. But again, he's a rookie.
I think you know what Mike has a lot to chew on in that 2-guard situation because Hurt is your starter and Malik Monk is your number 1 guy that comes off the bench. for Herder. I mean, and I'm kind of wondering about this. Does Malik come off the bench for Herder, or does he come off the bench for De'Aaron because he handles the ball when he comes into the game?
It's got to be for Herder because him and De'Aaron play lights out for the most part when they're together.
But you watch the substitution pattern. As soon as Malik Monk comes in the game, he's playing point.
Yeah, we're coming back right now.
That's my question.
Yep. Welcome back in the game night right here, Sacktown Sports 1140, final show of 2023. Hopefully you're getting ready to celebrate the New Year's. If you're out and about, keep it safe, of course. You can give us a call. Give us your King's resolution. If you want to give us your resolution, that's great too. That's what it's all about today. 916-339-1140. We're having great conversation in the Sacktown YouTube chat as well. Manny saying that Sabonis is going to be his dog of the game tonight. A huge game for Sabonis, as we said. Well, you can always pick Sabonis. I took Fox, so you can always say that about Fox as well. You guys,
homers.
got Keegan. So all good there. And Nate's got Trey Lyles. So we'll see how that all shakes out. Game night brought to you by Power Business Technology. Experience how the Power family can help your business office equipment needs today. Contact them at 844-POWER-BZ or go to powercopiers.com. Well, New Year's came early for the Pistons last night. The 28-game losing skid.
Is that New Year's or Christmas?
Stopped. You call it what you want.
Christmas came late.
I don't think Monty Williams is going to worry about the semantics of it. But the Pistons beating the Raptors, so they will remain tied with the all-time losing record with the Philadelphia 76ers, but they will not surpass it. And it's good for the Pistons because they took the Celtics to overtime on Thursday night, didn't get it done. They were very competitive the game before as well. It's nice for me. I was rooting for the Pistons. I'm glad that this is done for them. Cade Cunningham, a big night, 30 points and 12 assists.
You know what, Scott? You know what the crazy thing is? This young team has started out and they've struggled mightily. Mm-hmm. They got they got this win in. And I wouldn't be surprised if they go on a little run.
Okay. Well, they had a 2-game winning streak to start the year.
I'm saying I wouldn't be surprised if they go on a little mini run and start winning some games.
Yeah. Now, we have to be fair. Toronto was undermanned because Toronto made the big trade earlier in the day. So they didn't have OG Anunoby. They didn't have Precious Achiuwa, Malachi Flynn. They were all traded to the Knicks for RJ Bennett, Emmanuel Quickly, and a second-round pick, but none of those players played in Toronto. So good for the Pistons. Nobody's cared about them when they've been undermanned or injured or anything else.
No, none of that.
No. But it was good timing. That trade came right as the Pistons were about to break a record you don't want.
And let me ask you this. I wouldn't have thought that New York would have been quick to get up off of Quickly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was going to ask you what you think of that trade.
I thought Emmanuel Quickly was part of their core going forward. I didn't think that they was going to be willing to move him, even for a guy like Anunoby.
Yeah. Do you feel potentially like with Sacramento was a Fox Halliburton situation where, I mean, you've got Jalen Brunson, who is a proven all-star, right? There just isn't room for two possible. I mean, Quickly, I don't know. I mean, obviously he was, NBA all rookie. I don't know if he's all-star, all that Jalen Brunson's proven to be, but he's got maybe that potential.
And see, and I thought that maybe they could run both of those guys together, mm-hmm. But maybe it's something going on down there in New York that we're not privy to where both of those guys. There's like, no, they're not going to work because one got to have the ball, the other's got to have it, and it might be one of those type of scenarios.
Well, I think the other thing we know about Coach Tibbs, Tom Thibodeau, he is a defensive-minded coach, and OG Anunoby, that's what he is. He's a defensive player, so They get him. I mean, as you know, to get quality, you have to give up quality too. So
True. I mean, you wasn't going to get this guy for a 6-pack of beer and some sunflower seeds.
No.
I understand that.
So maybe it's one of these trades we'll see works out best for both teams, but we definitely are seeing that the Raptors are starting to make some moves here.
Oh, yeah. I mean, right now I would think it's going to be a wholesale because Pascal Siakam's name is still out there too.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure it's a lot of teams out there that's willing to make a move to get a guy like Pascal.
No doubt. Pirtle's another guy who's out there too, who I think could look good in certain
I
uniforms.
like Jakob Pirtle.
I do a lot too. All right, let's go to the phone lines. Edward, welcome in the game night. How are you, my friend?
Well, Happy New Year, guys.
Happy New Year's to you too.
I called you before the Houston series, and at that time I thought we should stand pat and look to add Valentunas in the offseason.
Yep. How do you feel now?
Well, I've learned something else, and your screener confirmed it to me, that during the last summer, the Kings offered De'Aaron Fox to extend his contract 2 years at $50+ million per, and he turned it down.
Yeah, but can I give some context to that?
Yeah.
Okay. He didn't turn it down as a slap to the Kings saying he didn't want to stay here long term. He's eligible if he makes an all-NBA team again this year for the super max, which is literally an additional $40 or $50 million on top of what he would have signed with an extension. And that's the reason why he did not sign.
But wouldn't he not be eligible for that until?
No, he would not. If he signs something now, he doesn't get eligible for that super max in the future.
But the only time he can get the super max is after this season and 2 more. Am I correct?
Correct on that, yes. But if he had signed something previous, like in this offseason, he would not have been available to that at the end of this season, is what I'm trying to say. If that makes sense to you, Edward.
Well, it makes me wonder because he joined Clutch, and that's where LeBron and AD are.
Yep.
And, boy, you cannot possibly take a chance on losing him for nothing.
Oh, no, it wouldn't be that. I mean, you just said it right there. And believe me, everybody at Clutch knows, because they'd have done it before with those two players. They know, and they wasn't about to let De'Aaron sign a contract to where he was going to be able to just throw the Supermax out. It's not that De'Aaron wants out. It's that Clutch is going to make sure that De'Aaron gets the most money that they can possibly get.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I mean, I think $50 million a year is plenty, but I understand trying to get as much as you can. But I think we have to think about, are we going to have to trade him?
All right, Edward, I appreciate your call. It's worth a consideration on that, but I don't feel like that has anything to do between. But I understand his point. It's hard to grasp how that amount of money could even be remotely considered not being signed, because we would be running so fast to sign that contract. Like, my head would be spinning so fast it might literally come apart from my body.
But the problem is, and this is where a lot of fans really have to understand, because I've been player, and I always will be pro player first, because see, I understand the business side of it. Think about it. If the team is able, now he's looking at 50 million. Hey, that's a lot of money. Yes, it is. It's a lot of money. Of course it is. Right?
Yes.
But you have to understand, when you look at the overall business, if the team can afford to pay De'Aaron 60, 70, whatever it is that it's going to be, they're not in the business of losing money. Understand where this team came in at. They bought the team for $500 million. They bought the arena for $500 million. That makes it $1 billion. This team, if you go look on Google right now, this team is worth $10 billion now.
No, it's not.
Isn't it?
I have to call you out on that one. It's
isn't
not,
it around there?
Worth $10 billion. No. The
Or
the
$3
Mavs
billion.
were just sold for about $4 billion, I believe.
Or $3.
The Mark Cuban
but
deal.
I know the money has doubled.
Oh, for sure. They've from the $530 million that the Maloof sold this team. Right. I believe the estimates
3.33.
There you go.
There you go.
I knew the money had doubled. Almost 3 times.
More than double. Yeah,
right.
Absolutely. Yes, correct. Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying.
Like, if we're going to say that $50 million is a big deal for the air, we've got to say that $6 or $7 million is a big deal in terms of franchise valuation.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
So, 3.3 is different from Ted for sure. But, and Nate, maybe if you get a chance, you can look up the specifics on the Supermax opportunity for De'Aaron. But we do appreciate the call from Edward very much. Let's go around the league a little bit more. As we said, the Pistons celebrating after the big win on the road against Toronto, 129-127. It was the Jazz beating the Heat last night, 117-109. The Pacers put up 140, beat the Knicks, 140-126. Halliburton last night, you want to know the stat line?
Break it down.
22 points.
Nice.
And 23 assists.
Oh.
To put that in context, because he had the 21.20 assists, 0 turnover night the night before. He is now one of 3 players in NBA history with back-to-back 20-plus points and 20-plus assist games. The other 2, you want to take a guess?
I know Wilt ain't in there.
No, it's not Wilt.
Probably what? Oscar Robertson?
That's a great guess, but it's not.
Wow.
I'll give you one, John Stockton.
Okay, John
that's
Stockton.
the one you may not think of right away, although, I mean, you certainly could too.
Could I throw J. Kidd in there, maybe?
J. Kidd would be a great guess. The other one's Magic Johnson.
Okay,
in
MJ.
84. So, yeah. So, the Magic Man and John Stockton, now Tyrese Halliburton in their company.
Can I ask you this?
Yeah.
Because I know right now we're pushing for De'Aaron to be in the conversation of most valuable player.
Sure.
You think on the East they kind of pushing for Tyrese Halliburton also?
I feel like on a national level, Tyrese is higher up on that list than De'Aaron is.
You think so?
I do. I do think so.
Okay.
I do feel like there's more talk about him. Now, the thing that will hold him back is the Pacers aren't as good. I mean, they're close to the Kings. They're 17-14 right now, depending upon where they go. And I think the same thing with the Kings. I think De'Aaron Fox is getting legitimate talk about MVP. But I think right now, if you were going to pull national writers, I think Tyrese would pull higher than De'Aaron.
Really?
That's my personal opinion.
And you don't know, and you have a right to it. I was just wondering because I know we have definitely been, balking about it because De'Aaron hasn't been on the list, and they haven't been talking about De'Aaron as MVP as well as he's been playing. But I'm like you, I've been hearing grumblings from nationally that Tyrese Halliburton, they're looking at him as being a guy on that list.
Yeah, for sure. And with the Pacers, it's Halliburton and everybody else is how it's kind of the national scope is. With the Kings, I still feel like it's De'Aaron's the best player, but Sabonis is incredible too, right? It's seen as a 1-2 punch a little bit, and that might be a little bit.
Okay.
But that's worth debate. In 2024, we'll see how things shake out there. All right, Bulls beating the Sixers without Embiid, 105-92. Andre Drummond 23 rebounds in that game. The Lakers, for LeBron's 39th birthday, they lose in Minnesota 108-106. And did you see the finish of that game?
Yeah.
Kevin Durant sneaker time all over again.
Right there.
LeBron hit what looked like a 3 to tie the game, but by the slightest of toe, and the shoe was on the line.
And if you're a serious Sacramento Kings fan, we call that Mitch Richmond Big Toe.
Yep, no doubt. I mean, it went to review because originally it was a rule to 3. Upon review, it was called a 2, and the Lakers end up losing that game. Not a great gift for LeBron on his birthday. And then the Mavs, well, they go into Chase Center and they beat the Warriors 132-122. Luka, 39 points, 8 rebounds, 10 assists. The Warriors are now just 9-8 at home.
Wow.
I mean, they're 15-17 overall, but 9-8 at home. They were at least a good home team last year. They were a terrible road team, as we know.
And Scott, I mean, it's just too many questions about where the Golden State Warriors are going. Right now, the only good thing, and this ain't even good for the Warriors, is that Steph Curry is still there, but he's in a slump.
Yep.
Clay is out to lunch. Clay like he's ready to go. I mean, he hasn't shot the ball well. Draymond's Draymond. We know he's out putting somebody in a chokehold somewhere. And then, the rest of the guys, they're like, where are you? Wiggins, where are you? The bench, Moody, all those guys, like, where are you?
It's a great question. So Curry last night was 9 of 25, had 25 points, 6 of 15 from downtown. Clay was 1 of 11.
That's what I'm saying.
He had 3 points in 26 minutes last night.
Clay, I mean, how do you get to this conclusion? Because right now, we all know Clay shoots better than that.
Yeah.
Is it a situation of is his timing off, or I just think he's just not happy. When you're not happy in a situation, Scott, I'm sorry, your struggles and your woes get magnified.
Yeah, no doubt that it's tough times for Klay Thompson and the Warriors right now. They're still trying to figure out. A lot of talk that they're going to move either Kuminga or Wiggins, that they can't both play together. So Steve Kerr's got a lot to deal with at the end of this year. How about for Luka? Here was his month of December going into tonight, averaging 37.4 points per game, 9 rebounds and 11.2 assists. That's what he did for the month. And now Kyrie's been missing quite a bit, so his usage rate, which is high, has even got up more. But those numbers are just ridiculous.
Crazy.
Those are MVP numbers,
but let me ask you this. They are. They're MVP numbers. I will not, look past that. But here's my bigger question for Luka. Mm-hmm. And we were just talking about this about another player off the air.
Yeah.
Is Luka, as great as he is, can he win you the big one?
I think he can if he has the right pieces around him.
But the thing about it is, Scott, he has to have the ball. I'm not even talking about the guys that are around him because he don't use the guys around him. Is Luka a guy that will be able to take you and win the big one?
I do think Lively was a great pick for him because he's a guy who can lob to inside and doesn't need the basketball a ton. I do think Luka is a guy you can win a championship with.
Okay.
I do.
Okay.
But time will prove that because the Mavericks haven't been good enough otherwise to really be in that conversation. But the Mavs right now are 19-14. They're 11-7 away from home.
Good ball.
They're playing good ball.
Yeah.
They are definitely on the upswing, no doubt about it. All right, when we come back, we'll look at the games going on tonight. Of course, we'll focus in on Kings and the Grizz. Last game of 2023, first meeting between these two teams. We'll break it all down. We'll give you the Arnold Law Firm injury report as well. It's game night right here, Sacktown Sports, 1140.
The 49ers have secured their playoff berth, and now they chase the NFC's top.
Scott, we're having some technical issues in here.
Okay.
So we're probably just going to play spots during this break.
That's fine.
All right. Happy New Year.
At all the 49ers games with Greg Papa and Tim Ryan.
On your home for the playoff-bound 49ers. Sacktown Sports and SacktownSports.com.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean. Of course I use Mr. Clean Magic Eraser to clean tough messes off my stovetop and bathtub. But then I discovered I can also use it to easily clean my patio furniture and even my shoes. I'm hooked.
And when wipes won't cut it, I use Magic Eraser Sheets. They're thin and flexible erasers, perfect for everyday messes, like gunk on my counters and sinks. They really are magical.
The reviews are in. Mr. Clean Magic Eraser and Sheets make cleaning look easy.
Hi, this is Scott Trout of Cordell & Cordell. There are a lot of great dads out there. Sometimes those dads get divorced. For more than 30 years, we've represented men in divorce, confronting the pitfalls that could devastate your finances or harm your family relationships. While every situation is different, our goal is to get the best outcome for you and your kids. Visit CordellCordell.com to take the first step.
500 Capitol Mall, Suite 2060, Sacramento, California, 95814. Online at CordellCordell.com.
Hi, this is Henry Turner, a.k.a. the High Flyer. I've done a lot of amazing things on the basketball floor, but now it's your turn to be amazing. For more than 55 years, Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Sacramento has helped out the youth beat many odds. Too many littles, especially boys, are still waiting for volunteers, Big Brothers. Volunteers to spend at least 4 to 6 hours a month with local youth who needs guidance and support. So donate your time to Big Brothers and Big Sisters of the greater Sacramento area. Get involved. It's easy as a layup. Call 916-646-9300.
Red Hawk Resort Casino is an entertainment experience like no other. We're the only place where you can play blackjack, then hop on an indoor kart track. We're the only place with more than 2,000 of the hottest slots and a state-of-the-art 18-lane bowling center. And now with a world-class sports bar and a resort hotel to stay after you play. Is it any wonder we've been voted best over 100 times? We're Red Hawk Resort Casino, official casino partner of the Sacramento Kings.
For today's show and tell, I present my phone. It's made with glass and various metals I can't pronounce. It's powered by Xfinity Mobile, so my family saves big. Take a handout.
Colin, what are these?
I'm quizzing the class on the material.
Switch to Xfinity Mobile and save hundreds a year with the best price for 2 lines of unlimited. Just $30 a line a month. Visit XfinityMobile.com to learn more. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Unlimited Intro Service and Xfinity Internet required. Taxes and fees extra. Reduced speeds after 20 gigabytes of usage. Data thresholds may vary.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Our final segment of 2023 here on game night. Scott Marsh along with the high flyer Henry Turner. One last time, we'll go through things for the year. Just to follow back, Henry, on the call from Edward earlier, just to kind of clean that up a little bit. So Fox was offered an extension, which would have been 2 years, $105 million.
Right.
He declined it because if he makes an All-NBA team this season, he's eligible for that Supermax, as we discussed. That means $245 million over 4 years. So that breaks out to what, $61.5 million a year versus 52.5. So 61.5 over 4 years versus 52.5 over 2. Now, okay. All right. In our world, does that make a huge difference? In my world, when I take 52 or 6, I wouldn't really care. I would cite either of them. I get that. But in that world, of course.
It's safe to say he won't be standing on the sideline holding the sign saying we'll work for food.
But you know what? Darren's betting on himself, and I love it because the way he's playing, he's going to make that All-NBA team.
And, I mean, it's a part of the game. And that's why it's so lovely to be an NBA player. That's why so many guys work so hard, so diligently to get there. And when you get there, you want to be rewarded for all the labors of everything that you put in. So, I'm not mad at De'Aaron, not one iota.
No, to me, it's totally understandable. And I don't think the Kings took it in any way as De'Aaron might want out of Sacramento. I don't think so. I don't think that's how it was taken around the league by anybody. All right, let's get you to the injury report for tonight. Brought to you by the Arnold Law Firm, providing justice for you since 1975. If you're injured, call the Arnold Law Firm, 916-777-7777. For the Kings, as we mentioned, Kevin Huerter questionable. He left the game with that left wrist strain. We are told that he is on the active roster by our Kings insider. I'm assuming that is Frankie Cardicelli, who Nate went to. We appreciate that.
Man, you just called him out.
Man. I know who our insiders are at the station.
He just straight dry snitched on you, Nate.
I know Nate has
dude. You're going to get me in trouble.
I know Nate has a source. I've got sources too. Wow. Come on now. We all have sources.
You didn't call out your source, though.
All right. So that should be Kevin will play tonight. As for the Grizzlies, Luke Kennard's been out with that knee. John Conchar, illness is out. Derrick Rose, we didn't even talk about Derrick Rose. He's out with a hammy, out indefinitely. Steven Adams, Brandon Clark still out with the Achilles. So there you go. The Grizz are still a banged up team, but we do know they have John Morant back, and that makes a big time difference.
No doubt. John Morant, and, they still have guys playing at a very high level. John definitely playing at a high level, like we talked about. JJ playing at a high level. Marcus Smart bringing them the dog that they need. And then, Bane is still Bane. I mean, they still have very good talent on that squad.
No doubt. Bane's averaging over 26 points since Morant's return. So again, it's like, it's not just what Morant is bringing in his stat line, but of course it's everything he's bringing to the team.
They're comfortable with one another, and when you bring back that stability, everybody else falls back in what they do best.
They do. I can't wait to see Fox and Morant.
Oh yeah. I mean, you know what? Fun. It's worth the ticket.
No doubt. It is definitely worth it tonight. Kings and Grizz, Sacramento looking to finish 2023 with their 19th win of the year. They're looking to get to a 2-1 homestand before coming home to take on Charlotte on January 2nd. All right, High Flyer, that's going to do it. Our final show of the year. Any parting shots for 2023? Anything you want to get off your chest as we move into the new year?
No, like I say, Scott, my New Year's resolution is just to be a little bit better than I was the year prior. But, hopefully you will want to be in that situation yourself there, sir.
I'm going to try myself, and you're already a good man, Henry.
There we go,
it's fun working with you.
Always a pleasure, Scooter. Always. You know that.
You're a good man, and I wish you nothing but the very best. A happy new year and all the best in 2024 to you and your beautiful family. All right, that's going to do it for game night. Coming up next, Kings Live pregame. Jason Ross will be in for that. The High Flyer stays. The G-Man will join. G-Man will have the call tonight. It's a 5 o'clock tip from Memphis. Kings and Grizz, first meeting of the year. Can Sacramento get this thing done on the road and come flying home with a nice win before the new year? We'll find out all about it. Keep it tuned here all evening, night long. We'll have all the Kings coverage for you on Sacktown Sports 1140. Have a very happy new year and stay safe, everybody. Have a great night tonight.
Keegan Murray plays here.
Keegan scores another three-pointer. Keegan Murray not